So hi y'all, welcome, and we're starting off with the first video for 22, and I know it's been quite some time since I filmed a video, and I honestly don't remember when I posted the last video. I think that was my get ready with me video, and I've been posting a couple of shots every now and then, and my new resolution was to make sure that I at least post at least a video per week. So it's going to be my target for the entire year to post at least one video, and every now and then I'll try to do it two videos per week. And you can also check out my Instagram page. I do post a lot of content there on a much more regular basis, but I'm trying to keep up the same with you guys on YouTube. So I hope that we do that for this year. So we'll start off with today's topic. For today's look, I haven't done any highlighting or contour on my skin, and I've just done my eyes and the base and my lips, and that is just because I just wanted the blush to kind of be the star of the show and show you how it can make a difference and how it can change a lot of things. So we're going to start off with the first style, which is going to be like the most classic way of applying your brush, which is going to be right at the apples of the cheek. So this one is from Tarte, the Amazonian Clay blush collection, and this one is in the shade Captivating. So coming to the factor about where exactly is the apple of the cheek. So when you smile, the area which pops out is going to be the apples of your cheek. So it's pretty much in the center, the front profile of your face. It kind of comes a little under your eyes and a little after your nose. So this area will be the apples of the cheek. So coming to the factor about who would this look good for, like, this kind of a technique. So, the result of this is that it's going to look extremely like a very youthful kind of a finish with a very, it looks super natural. Like that's the actual place which you tend to flush, when you blush, and you're going to look super youthful, very, very cute. And in the best way, it's going to make you look like a very small, cute kid. And this is the area which we're going to be doing it for that effect. And this would look great on someone who is extremely skinny, where they do not really have a lot of chubbiness in that area. So when you add a little bit of blush, it will give you fullness on that area. So make sure that you don't smile, because when you smile, your cheek moves, right? So I'm not that old, so my skin doesn't really move a lot. But with time and with age, what tends to happen is that your face moves, because you lose collagen in your face and you basically start to move. So do not create a smile and then apply your blush. Rather smile, see where the position is, remember it, and then relax your face and then go ahead with the application. And I'm putting it exactly in the apples of my cheek. I'm going to be going slightly overboard with all the blushes, that way it's visible to you. Okay, so once that you've done applying it, I'm just going to slightly diffuse it at the edges, that way it doesn't look like a clown. So moving on from this, we're going to move on to the second topic, which is going to be the sculpted cheek. So for the sculpted cheek technique, we're going to be using the MAC blush, and this one is the MAC Gingerly Sheer Tone blush. So it's kind of like a very cult classic neutral blush. So we're going to be using this in a way that it gives you some amount of structure and shape with your face. So I'm going to be applying it mainly in this area of the face. Basically, it kind of looks like it's wrapped around your cheek, and rather than focusing on the apples of the cheek, you're going off it, you're going after it, which is basically the area of the cheekbones. So when you smile, this area also kind of gets lifted up, right? So this area over here. So can you see I'm starting off like literally from a hairline, like how you contour. So we're barely even gonna touch the apples of the cheek with this placement. So I'm just also gonna slightly take that into my temples. So what this does is that it gives it a little bit of continuity, rather than just applying like a big patch of product in this cheek area. So we're gonna slightly take that into the temples too, just to kind of help the blend of it. And we're gonna stop right here, so it doesn't come beyond the area like of the eye. So when you see the center of my eye, and after that there is literally no product, whereas the other technique was pretty much the opposite of this. So another thing with this blush application is that your face is also tilted. Like when you see your cheekbone area, it does have a tilt, and you have to move your brush in that angle, and you can't just do a straight application. And because of that tiltedness which you're doing, it almost gives you an effect like your face is lifted. So moving on to the third technique is something which is perfect if you are a person who loves blush. Like, if you just love blush so much and you want to use a lot of it, but you again don't want to look like a clown, right? So I think this is perfect for you, which is gonna be like a dual color blush technique. So you need two colors for this, and that is the reason why I have a lighter color outside and I have a darker color in the center. So the lighter color goes on like the majority of the area. So it's perfect if you have maybe like a neutral tone blush, which is just probably not 1 to 2 shades deeper than your skin, and it's not extremely strong. You can use that like very effortlessly without really thinking and hesitating a lot. And then you're going to add a pop of color. So that is going to be the dual tone blush technique. So we're going to start with the lighter shade. I'm just kind of targeting the sides of it to get the lighter tones out. So what am I going to do is I'm going to start from the apples of the cheek and kind of take it all across the cheek area, like the cheekbone area, and add a pop of it along the temples and a little on the forehead too. So I would recommend that you use something which is not cool tone, unlike me. So use something a little more warmer. That way it also looks like a little bit of a bronzer on your skin. So it's perfect to wear this in the summers. I think this would be my favorite technique to do in the summers. You can have a good amount of blush and it just looks so cute and it just kind of looks all tied together. So add a little bit on the foreheads too. So now we're just going to dip into this darker color in the center and we're going to add a pop of it. So I'm just going to take a tiny bit of it, tap off the excess, and we're going to target it like at this area, just a little after the apples of the cheek, but you can always go in for the apples of the cheek. I personally do not like that effect, so I'm slightly going a little off it. Like how I'm adding a darker tone, it would also look great that if the darker tone had a little bit of shimmer in it, and you can kind of add it, I know exactly at the apples of the cheek. So when you turn, the light just bounces off the center of your cheek and it just looks so youthful, so cute, and it just looks super natural. I think that is something which is worth a try if you like shimmer blushes. So moving on to the fourth technique, I'm going to be calling it as the Instagram sweetheart kind of a blush application. This is one of the most latest and the most recent type of blush application, and I haven't seen this like before, so it's something which is super new and it's pretty much trending at this point of time. And this is going to be this blush application which is pretty much in the front of your face. It kind of just goes in all the places where you usually get a sunburn. So it isn't like your classic blush application which is focused on the cheek, and rather we're gonna go on the areas where you actually get a tan. So I would say that this application is perfect if you wanted to look something like a fake tan or a little bit of sunburn going on your skin. And I'm going to use a liquid blush for doing this, and reason being because it just blends a lot better in the center of the face area, and this technique is perfect if you want to make it look like you got a tan, and also it's perfect if you have a very thin long face and you want to give it a little bit of thickness right in the center. I think this would help you for that. We'll be starting from the center of the nose and kind of in this area, which is basically like just below the eye. And I'm not really used to this blush placement. It's something which is super new because we usually keep this area clean because of the pores and all those things, but it's kind of contrary to what we are usually always doing. So we're gonna slowly pat the blush in this area. So we're gonna go with a good amount of blush right at the bridge of the nose and start to blend the other side. It kind of looks like skin with a little bit of wetness and a very tiny amount of color. It's totally blendable and it just looks very natural on the skin. To kind of, just work it through, I'm going to add a tiny bit on my chin too. It would just, maintain the warmthness all over instead of it making it look like it's concentrated only on the cheeks. But I would say that this is kind of like a very super cute trend and I'm kind of liking this too. So moving on to the fifth technique is going to be something which is back from the 80s, and 80s are like one of the times where the most iconic trends and everything was started. So we're going to be doing a blush application which is pretty much still done in the makeup industry, and this kind of makes it look like you have a fake bronzed kind of an effect on your skin. So not exactly bronzed, it's more of a way to kind of lift your face and also to give it a lot of structure and dimension. Kind of like a model way of approaching with a blush. So I'm going to be using the Natasha Denona palette, and this one is the blue palette. So I'm going to be starting with the cream blush, and then I'm going to use the shimmer blush for a little bit of, a light glow bounce on the skin. So we're going to go in this entire C-shaped kind of a format in this place, just above the eyebrow. And I'm going to do something where I connect my eyeshadow into the blush. So I'm slightly like squeezing my brush and I'm connecting and dragging the eyeshadow into the blush. So what that does is that gives you a good amount of color, and it makes everything look a lot more cohesive. So not that there's a division between the eyeshadow and the blush, and rather everything kind of looks together, kind of like a very watercolored kind of an effect. So we're going to be doing that. So that is one blush application, and you notice that it doesn't really come into the area of the blush, which is over here. And if you feel it does, you can just kind of take your foundation brush and slightly just clean off the edges. That way it's pretty concentrated on that area. We're going to be using the same one and dip it into the shimmer shade, and what the shimmer does is that we're going to take it into the apples of the cheek right over here and connect that into the area, into the high points of the cheek basically. So you kind of get this glow where the light just, bounces off, whereas you have color and the color just kind of mixes with the light bouncing. So it just gives you a very good definition, especially in the sides of your face, and it gives you a very good lifted effect. Another cool thing with this is that I don't have to really go in with highlighter separately, and I'm just going to set the sides of my nose because, the look is like way too shiny on the centers of the face. So you can just make sure that this entire part of your face, like, right from under your eyes and after that is completely set. That way it doesn't catch the light as much, and only the cheek is basically the center of attraction. So those were all the 5 blush techniques, and I hope you all enjoyed this one. Let me know down in the comment section below if you want to learn something new or if you kind of want to experiment with something on the same basis. So let me know that down in the comment section below, and give me a big thumbs up if you like this video, and stay tuned for some more. Until next time, bye.